Hi students, today in this video we go for the second part of the chapter 7 and the name of the chapter is A Visit to Cambridge. In the first part we saw that the writer Firdaus Kanga visited to Stephen Hawking and he asked some question to that great person and now we continue the chapter and continue the interview of those two great persons. So let's start that what is there in the second part of this chapter. And here is page number 98. About 3 minutes later he responded, I find it amusing when people patronized me. When Firdaus Kanga asked him that, are you laughing inside, are you happy inside, then he responded means he gave answer after 3 minutes that I find amusing, I find it's funny when people patronize me. Patronize means treat as inferior to them. So it was very funny thing, it is very funny thing. And do you find it annoying when someone like me comes and disturbs you in your work? And Firdaus Kanga asked next question that are you angry when someone like me that Firdaus Kanga said that someone like me come and disturb you in your work, are you become angry? The answer flashed yes. The answer came into machine voice, yes, typed at the computer. Then he smiled his one-way smile and I knew without being sentimental or silly that I was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world. He smiled his one-way smile and then he smiled and I knew that without sentimental, without emotions, I was looking that he was the most beautiful man in the world, Stephen Hawking. A first glimpse of him is shocking, means the first appearance of Mr. Stephen Hawking was very shocking because he is like a still photograph, as if all those pictures of him in magazines and newspapers have turned three-dimensional. If we look at the first sight of to Stephen Hawking, then he is like a photograph. Still means he is like a still photograph, as if he is like a statue. If all these pictures, his pictures are there in magazines and newspapers, have the three-dimensional turn because in the real life he is like a statue. Then you see the head twisted sideways into a slump, the torso shrunk inside the pale blue shirt. Now this is the description that how Stephen Hawking looks, and Firdaus Kanga said that his head twisted in sideways into a slump means fall heavily, and the torso means the upper part of the body shrunk inside the pale blue shirt. His upper part of the body shrunk means covered inside the pale blue shirt. The wasted legs means his legs are not useful. You look at his eyes which can speak. His eyes are very active and they can speak still, and they are saying something huge and urgent. His eyes are very active and they want to express something very huge and very urgent, very important thing. It is hard to tell what, that we cannot say that which thing they want to express, but you are shaken because you have seen something you never thought could be seen, but you surprised because something you could be seen, never thought that something is there inside the mind of Stephen Hawking. So these are two or three paragraphs of the second part, and now we go for the next. Before you, like a lantern whose walls are worn so thin you glimpse only the light inside. Here Firdaus Kanga said that Stephen Hawking is like a lantern whose walls are so thin and you can see only the light inside of that lantern is the incadences of a man. It is the inner light, it is the spiritual light of a man. The body almost irrelevant. the body of the man is irrelevant means unnecessary, it is not important, exists only like a case made of shadows. It is only the case made of shadows. So that I know believer in eternal souls. Though Firdaus Kanga not believed in eternal souls, but know that this is what each of us is. Everything else is an accessory. Means now Firdaus Kanga realized that this is the eternal soul is most important. Anything else is accessory, means not important. It is extra. So the man should believe in eternal soul, not in body appearance. What do you like is the best thing about being disabled? I had asked him earlier. Now Firdaus Kanga again asked Stephen Hawking that what do you think which is the best thing in to being disabled, means to being very weak person. I had asked him earlier. I don't think there is anything good about being disabled. Now, Stephen Hawking answered that I don't think there is anything good to being disabled. I think I said you to discover how much kindness there is in the world. Now again he answered that I think that you have to discover that how much kindness, how the common people behave with the disabled person in this world. And now we go for the next paragraph. Yes, he said it was a disadvantage of his voice synthesizer that it could not convey no inflection, no shades or tone. Now Firdaus Kanga said that yes, he said it was a disadvantage of his voice, means we cannot express, we cannot see his emotions because it was a machine voice, and it has no shades of tone, and I could not tell how enthusiastically he agreed with me. When Stephen Hawking answered, then Firdaus Kanga said that I cannot tell that how enthusiasm he has in his mind and how he agreed with me, because he had a machine voice that we cannot see the emotion of that voice. Every time I shifted in my chair or turned my wrist to watch the time, I wanted to make that every one of our 30 minutes count. I felt a huge relief and exhilaration in the possibilities of my body. Now Firdaus Kanga realized that how strong I am, because when I see Stephen Hawking, he was a very, very disabled person, that I can move my body but he cannot move his single part of body. How little it mattered then that I would never walk or even stand. Now Firdaus Kanga realized that what happened if I would not never walk and I could not stand, because my body can move and it is very big thing for me. Because when I see Stephen Hawking, that when I saw him, he was very unable, and he unable to move his single part of body. So it is very great to me to move my body parts. So this is the page number 98, and now we go for the next page. And here is the next page. I told him how he had been an inspiration beyond Kutch for me. Beyond Kutch means phrase and idea used so often that it loses its meaning. That Stephen Hawking gave me the inspiration, and surely for others. Did that thought help him? No, he sighed, and I thought how foolish I was to ask. When your body is claustrophobic room and the walls are growing narrower day by day, it doesn't do much good to know that there are people outside smiling with admiration to see you breathing still. Now Firdaus Kanga said that Stephen Hawking answered no. Then Firdaus Kanga realized that how foolish this question I make, that how foolish I am. When your body is claustrophobic means very small and suffocating area, in a room and the walls are growing narrower day by day, and the room covered by walls and the walls are growing narrower, then it doesn't do much good to know that outside you can see the people and they are smiling with admiration to see you breathing still. Now people at outside smiling at you, and it is not good that you are still breathing, so the condition is very very bad. Is there any advice you can give disabled people, something that might help make life better? Now Firdaus Kanga asked Stephen Hawking that have you want to give some message to disabled people that help him to make their life better? They should concentrate on what they are good at. Stephen Hawking said that the disabled people should concentrate on what they are good, on what they have talent. I think things like the disabled Olympics are a waste of time. Now, Stephen Hawking said that disabled Olympics organization, the organization of this type of Olympics like disabled persons, and they are a waste of time, they are not useful. I know what you mean. I remembered the year I would spend trying to play a Spanish guitar considerably larger than I was, and how gleefully I had unstringed in it one night. Now Firdaus Kaka remembered one incident that when he, in the childhood, when he, at the young age, then he remembered that he was trying to play Spanish guitar, but the guitar was larger than his size, and how gleefully gleefully means how happily I had unstringed, means I break the string of that guitar one night. So this incident remembered by Firdaus Kanga, that when Stephen Hawking said that disabled people only concentrate on what they are good at, not in other things. And now we go for the last part of this chapter. The half hour was up. I think I have annoyed you enough, I said, grinning. Thank you for. Now Firdaus Kanga have to finish the interview, and the half, because the time was up, half an hour was up, and I think that Firdaus Kanga said that I think that I have annoyed you, I made you angry. You enough, means now it is enough. I said with smile. Firdaus Kanga, grinning means smiling. Thank you for visit, thank you for your time. Stay, I waited, have some tea. Now Stephen Hawking offered Firdaus Kanga that have some tea. I can show you the garden. Stephen Hawking want to show his garden to Firdaus Kanga. The garden was as big as a park, but Stephen Hawking covered every inch, rambling along in his motorized wheelchair while I dozed to keep out of the way. Now Firdaus Kanga said that the garden of Stephen Hawking was as big as a park, but Stephen Hawking covered the whole garden on the wheelchair because I dodged to keep out of the way, because I dodged mean avoided to keep out of the way. We couldn't talk very much. We couldn't talk means in the garden very much because the sun made him silent. The letters on his screen disappearing in the glare. Glare means shining. Firdaus Kanga said that in the sunshine we can't talk much because the sun made the rays of sun fell on the screen of the computer, and his voice cannot appearing on the screen, so it is not very useful to talk, and the sun made him silent. The letters on his screen means on his computer the letters are not appearing in the glare, means in the sunshine. An hour later we were ready to leave. An hour later means 1 hour passed and we were now ready to leave. I didn't know what to do. Firdaus Kanga have confusion that what to do. I could not kiss him or cry. I touched his shoulder and peeled out into the summer evening. I touched his shoulder and wheeled out into him summer evening. I looked back and I knew he was waving, though he wasn't. Firdaus Kanga had illusion that Stephen Hawking was there, but he was not there. Watching him, an embodiment of my bravest self, the one I was moving towards, the one I had believed in for so many years alone. For so many years alone, I knew that my journey was over for now. Now, Firdaus Kanga had a great experience to meet Stephen Hawking, and he surely be thankful to Stephen Hawking, and he believed that so many years that I knew that my journey was over now. So this is the chapter, a visit to Cambridge. I hope you understood. You have to read this chapter from Honeydew textbook. Thank you.